Right everyone, what's going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my match recap / review of Chelsea's 1-1 draw at home to Aston Villa. A bit of mixed emotions about this result, obviously a bit more on the disappointing end. Really wanted to bounce back from that pretty shambolic loss to Arsenal and just what has been a pretty poor month of football in general from the Blues. We actually probably won't be able to see us play again until the 10th of January, I think it is, with the whole Man City coronavirus case going on. It looks like that game will be postponed, and our first game will be back against Morecambe in the FA Cup. So a few weeks for hopefully us to try and get ourselves back together as a team. But obviously I will be going over the key moments of our match against Villa and giving you guys my player ratings and player of the season point scoring system as well. So do leave a like and comment down below what you guys thought of the game, and as always do subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. But getting into the game, we did actually see a 4-3-3. Now I thought we were maybe going to see a bit of heavier rotation and maybe not see the centre backs rotated. I thought that would be the sort of area which was kept the same. I was actually wrong. There were a few players that actually started the game that started against Arsenal as well. We saw Pulisic, we saw Kante and Mount, we saw Chilwell all start, and Mendy obviously as well, and we saw some people subbed in. We saw Christensen and Rudiger start at centre back, Azpilicueta at right back, Jorginho as the holding midfielder, with Giroud and Callum Hudson-Odoi accompanying Pulisic in the front three. And it was a little bit surprising. Wasn't too sure how I felt about Jorginho starting. Wasn't too sure about having a completely new centre-back duo starting either. Zuma wasn't on the bench, so I'm a bit confused as to why he didn't play. If we're going to play players like Pulisic, Mount and Kante with only a day's rest since Arsenal, I don't see why Zuma wouldn't play. So maybe he had a bit of an injury or something, I don't know. Lampard hasn't commented on that. Obviously Reece James has got a little bit of a hamstring concern, but obviously hopefully he'll be fine within the 2 weeks it will take for our next game. Obviously my preview for that Morecambe game will be out nearer the time of that game happens. But Villa's team was basically unchanged, bar Tyrone Mings going out due to suspension, and I think the game went off to a bit of a slow start, but we did see a few fluid movements going forward, especially down the left. We saw Chilwell, Pulisic and Mount linking up well. We saw Hudson-Odoi switching play very well. He was actually probably controlling the game a lot in the first half of the first half, and I think I was really impressed by how he was playing. Him and Pulisic were definitely trying their best to make some things happen. Giroud maybe not his best performance and hold up wise, but yeah, I don't really know. It just seems like both teams were sort of, well, not both teams, but Villa were definitely trying to, defend. That was their main goal. And Villa have actually had some quite good away form in their last few games. I think they've beaten, or just in general, I should say, I think they beat Leicester away, they've beat Wolves away, they beat Arsenal away. They also had that crazy win against Liverpool. So it wasn't going to be an easy game against this Aston Villa side, which is why I don't think the point is maybe as awful as people say. I think what makes it awful is that obviously it comes at a time where we really did need to pick up a win. But we did actually get the first goal in this game, and it was a really nice movement again down that left-hand side. The ball falls to Pulisic, he knocks it out to the left, Chilwell crosses it in, Giroud with some really nice movement getting away from his defender and just heading that ball home near post past Martinez. And there was actually a few other opportunities we had in this game that we just blocked or just missed. Pulisic had one which hit the side netting, and Pulisic's playing really well since coming back, but I just think he needs to maybe score 1 or 2 goals to get a bit more of that finishing under wraps, because that's maybe been a bit of his weaker point so far. Yeah, defence was actually looking alright in the first half as well. I don't think they really struggled too much. I think that generally our team looked decent. There was maybe a few shaky-ish moments for Mendy during the match, but even then I don't think he really performed that poorly. Did make 1 or 2 decent saves in the game, but yeah, it was the second half where really our control went away. We sort of did come off the pace a little bit, but we still were controlling the game to a fair extent until Villa got the ball. Jack Grealish running down the left-hand side. He passes the ball away. Him and Christensen do collide. Now, I've heard some people saying it might have been a foul on Christensen and should have been brought back. I don't think it was a foul on Christensen. I think they just sort of collided. If anything, it might be more of a foul on Grealish. But Christensen stays down on the floor. Players continuing. The ball gets knocked out wide. They cross it over to the other side where Christensen pretty much should be. And El Ghazi taps it through the legs of Mendy into the back of the net. Sort of on the volley, it sort of bounced under Mendy's legs and went in. Could be harsh on Mendy there. I mean, obviously it's not the best look to have the ball go through your legs, but he should never have been in that position where basically El Ghazi was left unmarked, competing with no one, and could just basically, it was just him versus the goalkeeper. So in that situation, it's always going to be a bit 50-50, so that is just unfortunate. And after that, we just unfortunately couldn't find a winner. Timo Werner did have a good opportunity, but did sky the ball over the crossbar. Obviously, we know what his form has been like. Kante had a few shots. Hudson-Odoi had a very good shot saved. So maybe on another day we could have won the match. XG-wise, we actually kept Villa below 1, so a bit unlucky that they did manage to score. But I do kind of put that on Christensen, to be honest. I think he should have just got up. John Terry actually said on Instagram, in his comment section of one of his posts, that Christensen should have just got up. So, you know, when your captain, leader, legend is saying that, you know that is going to be the case. So a bit disappointing there. Werner and Havertz did both come on later. We actually saw a front three of Werner up front with Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi either side, which was, you know, promising, but also Villa did just kind of sit a bit deeper when that happened and sort of stop the sort of pace aspect of the game. But like I said, we still made a couple of opportunities, so still should have scored probably. I do think that from set pieces we maybe weren't as threatening, obviously with the lack of Zuma and Thiago Silva. Rudiger and Christensen just aren't as much of a presence, and Mount's delivery from the corners maybe wasn't as good as it sometimes is. But yeah, overall I'd say for most players it was a very average performance, and I guess when you perform averagely you can only expect really a draw or something like that. I think Villa defended well. I think we defended well most of the time. It was just a game which I think we probably should have just pipped, but as we know, our form hasn't been great, and just our scoring boots weren't really on in this game, which is a bit of a shame. But that is my overview of the match. You know, just a few key points. Do let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. But if I do get into my player ratings and give a bit more of an in-depth view on each player, Mendy is going to get a 5.5 out of 10 now. Obviously, 6 is the base rating where you've done okay. The only reason I'm giving a 5.5 is you could maybe argue that he maybe could have done better with the goal. Like, it did go through his legs, but still it was 1v1 and the ball was bouncing. It was a difficult one in my opinion. There was also one or two shaky-ish moments from him, so I think 5.5 is fair, although he did make a few decent saves. So you know, maybe it's a bit harsh. Maybe he should have just got 6, but I don't know. We didn't keep the clean sheet, obviously. Going on to right back, Azpilicueta, going to give him a 6 out of 10. Standard defensive display, did well, led the team out. Actually, from what I remember, did have the ball in the back of the net, but it was actually offside. Pulisic and David playing in offside position. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. So we did actually have the ball in the back of the net twice, but it was rightfully called offsides, to be fair. Christensen, I'm going to give a 5.5 out of 10. You know, guys, you all know what I think about Christensen on this channel. I'm not his biggest fan, but I actually did think he was playing pretty well up until the goal, but that just really annoyed me. I have quite a short fuse of him as it is, but just not getting up. He's done this in games before where he stayed down. I think someone mentioned some Manchester United games where he stayed down and the other team have capitalised and scored. He's just a fragile centre-back, and that's not what you want in the Premier League. And yeah, that really, really annoys me when he stayed down. Whilst Villa were attacking before they even scored, I was just saying, get up, come on man, what are you doing? But yeah, he didn't get up and we did concede. So 5.5, because I want to give him credit because he did play decently besides that, but I can't really excuse something like that. Rudiger's going to get a 6. Him and Christensen were decent, but he edges it a bit just because he didn't make that absolutely terrible mistake. Chilwell, I'm actually going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought he was really good. I think probably catered to the fact that Villa didn't really defend down his side that much, in the sense that Bertrand Traore really wasn't helping out Matt Cash that much until maybe a bit later on in the game. But yeah, Chilwell basically just had free roam on that left-hand side. He delivered a lot of good crosses, got the assist for Giroud, could have probably had 1 or 2 more. I think that it was a very good performance from him. Defensively, he was solid too, so I do think he was probably one of our better performers in the game, so a 7.5 for him. Jorginho, a 6 out of 10. Thought he controlled the tempo fairly well, but nothing really to write home about. I just think it was an average performance from him. Does make the tackles and interceptions, but also does get dribbled past a few times as well, so need to be a bit careful there. Kante and Mount, they're both going to get 6.5s out of 10. Kante, you know, working hard like usual. Got actually a few shots. You know, he was one of the midfielders trying to make things happen, and you know, just made some good tackles, drove up well with the ball. It was a pretty standard performance from him. He did go deeper when Havertz came on later, and just a solid performance from him. Wasn't his best performance, but was still decent. Mount's going to get a 6.5. Could have probably got higher, but the one thing that annoyed me, maybe it's harsh, is, well, not necessarily annoyed me, but I thought he could have done better, was his corner delivery. I thought that it wasn't maybe up to as well as he usually does, so that's why he maybe didn't get a 7 and got a 6.5, because I just thought maybe he could have done a little bit better from his set-piece delivery, but still, he put in the work. He, attacked well, was very fluent with his attacking side on the left, and decent performance from him, who's really racking up quite a few decent performances from that number 8 role. Going on to the front three, I'm going to give both Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi a 7 out of 10. I think they both had different games. Pulisic, recently as well, in other games, he's really making some very good runs, and that look really just like world-class, dribbling through players and nutmegging players. He just needs to work on his finishing, or maybe not even work on it. He just needs to maybe get a goal or two to boost that confidence up to where he can start putting balls in the back of the net. Hudson-Odoi was a bit different. He delivered some nice balls into the box, but he was also switching play very well. I think he got 100% accuracy out of his long balls, switching from side to side, controlling the play. He had a very good shot, which was saved by Martinez, who is obviously a great goalkeeper. And on another day he might have had a goal. So Hudson-Odoi, I think, performed very well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this long break that we've got, because obviously Ziyech will be back fit. What will happen with Hudson-Odoi? Will he get some merit and play? I mean, our next game's against Morecambe, so I mean, he might start that. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything who starts that game, but it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward, because I know that Ziyech is definitely part of the plan, so unfortunately I do think that whilst Hudson-Odoi is playing well, it might not be enough for him to keep his first team spot, which is a shame. Giroud, I'm actually going to give it a 6.5. Now, I know that he scored the goal, but I don't know, I just wasn't super impressed by his performance. I think he maybe could have scored another goal as well, but didn't. His hold-up play wasn't maybe as good as it has been, but it was still fine, and he still gets a goal. He scored, pretty consistently when he's played, so you've got to give him credit for that. But I don't know, it just maybe didn't stand out to me, his performance, as much this time around. Going on to Werner and Havertz. Werner's going to get a 5.5 from the bench. I was excited when I saw him coming in up front, but then Villa sat deep and he struggled. He shows a lot of energy and desire, obviously, but the commentator mentioned, I'm not sure if this is true, that with his shots he seems to rise them a lot and they seem to go over the bar. And he's probably not wrong. When I actually look back, he does sky a lot of his shots, and I think that's just a lack of confidence. He definitely goes for power more than precision. That is definitely the type of striker he is, and it's just not, unfortunately, going well for him at the moment. And I thought he was going to make quite a big impact when he came on, but he just didn't, so 5.5 from him. Havertz is going to get a 6. Standard performance from the bench. I actually think that from the bench he's looked a little bit better in the last few games, but he hasn't necessarily had loads of time, so it's kind of hard to analyse. I think a 6 out of 10 is fair. Maybe he was a bit slow at points. He still needs to work on getting the ball away a bit quicker. He seems to take a bit too much time on the ball, which I think him and Werner both do, probably because they're a bit more used to the Bundesliga still, where they have a bit more time and a bit more space in behind to deal, so they're going to have to try and develop well to the Premier League. But that is my player ratings, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of each player. If I get onto my player of the season point scoring system, I'm not going to give anyone the full 3 points, because I don't think anyone stood out that much, and obviously we did not win the game. However, I'm going to give 3 players 1 point, and those are going to be Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi, because of their great effort. I thought they were players trying to make stuff happen, and it just unfortunately didn't pay off. Maybe they could be a bit better making runs into the box. I think maybe Hudson-Odoi 1 or 2 times didn't make a run when the ball was crossed over to the far post, but I still think that it was a great performance from both of them, especially because they're sort of finding their feet still. Pulisic back from injury, Hudson-Odoi not playing consistently as much, and I thought it was decent. Giroud obviously got the goal, so I think it's only fair to give him 1 point. The 2 points, so the most points in this episode, is going to go to Ben Chilwell. Just a very good performance from him, defended well and attacked well. He had a lot of free roam on the left-hand side, did some good balls down, actually could have scored right in the dying seconds of the game, where he actually hit a volley and it just went past the post. It could have, I honestly thought when he hit that it might have been in, it was so close. And if he scored the match winner, he definitely would have got all 3 points. And that was very frustrating that he didn't, but it was still an amazing shot nevertheless. But those are my player point scoring system points. As you can see on the screen, how they are all tallying up. A lot of players getting quite close with the 10s and 11s. So I'll be interested to see who sort of breaks away from that pod, if anyone. But yeah, guys, that's going to be my review of the game. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and comment down below your thoughts. Subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. Probably won't be a while now until my next preview because the Man City game will most likely be postponed. I kind of hope it's not because we obviously would like to see Chelsea play sooner. But maybe if it is postponed, we can try and take this time to regroup, build up some fitness, get some players back from injury, and try and hit a good restart when we do play it again. Because the way our fixtures are, we don't really have a block of easy games. It kind of sort of goes easy, hard, if you can call any game easy at the moment. I do think our first game's against Morecambe in the FA Cup, but then I think it's away to Fulham. So obviously 2 games that we need to win there. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a nice day and a happy new year, and I'll see you next time.